So do you guys, when you see something like that, do you check it out before you send it on to somebody else? And the other thing that happens too that I'm always curious about is like people in the news business, if you look at their Twitter accounts, one of the last things it says is retweet does not mean an endorsement. Well, I mean, if you're pushing it out over your brand, you're pushing it out, right? You're just trying to push it off. So I didn't know if you guys had had any of that experience or not.
Well, a lot of times, even articles that like, they'll put an intriguing title on them, but they can be viruses. I'm sure you know about
Absolutely,
that a lot.
sure.
And so on Facebook and stuff like that, because I have Facebook, people will share something, and then in the comments before I open it, I'll send through the comments, and they'll be like, "Don't open it, like it's fake news or it's a virus or something like that." So you definitely have to watch out for that for sure.
How has preparing for this conversation changed your perception of social media?
Definitely just seeing the ways it can like physically impact you, not just emotionally, but with your brain. And back to what we were saying, like releasing that dopamine that can make you feel good, but then you get those like loneliness feelings or self-comparison. So just kind of seeing that also I'm not the only one who feels that. It's actually a thing. It's actually happening through this, through social media, through these apps. So like that's definitely opened my eyes of how powerful it can be. Going back to like it can be as powerful as cocaine. So that's kind of like crazy.
Here's one thing I want to ask before this time runs out is you all understand that everything you do, it's your personal brand. And you know, you're far too young to have to worry about a brand, right? But I mean, Dan's in this business and everything. You are what you are. And I wonder if you or people here realize, we talk a lot about security on our own social media accounts. We can't control what other people put on their social media accounts. And they may catch us during situations when we're not our best, or we have forgotten the fact that we're on camera in some form or fashion 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So is that something you think about?
I think that it is such a real thing now, because I know even me, like if somebody's doing something funny, I'll video it, but then you don't necessarily think about that person's feelings, or like what if that was you, how that would make you feel, and the consequences if it was like a bad situation. So
Like girls are the worst about that.
right.
Like if I'm driving and I'm having an irritation with traffic,
Yeah.
invariably my daughters will be in the seat and they'll be videoing and
Right. It's horrible.
I would say with the
That was
creation
you, I
of
was right behind you when
it was me.
I would say with the creation of Snapchat, there's definitely more videos, like quick videos being taken all the time. So you always have to watch what you're doing, because you know anyone can video you like any second.
Something funny happens and you honestly expect somebody's gonna catch that. Like
Like,
there's like something funny
did you
happens
get
in the
that?
class, you're like, oh, did you get that? Like somebody's gonna get it. So it's just a matter of
Can-
when.
How has social media impacted your faith? If it has it helped it, hurt it? Does it have any effect at all?
I think that it's probably, well, I think that it's helped and hurt in a way, just in like Billy was saying, like body image and stuff like that. It's like self-worth, like that's definitely harmful, but then you can also use social media to like help with that as well. So through pages on Instagram that are like Bible-based or God-based, and different influencers and stuff like that. So that definitely helps, and you can connect with other people as well who will help build your relationship.
Have they been effective? Those kinds of accounts?
I
Do you think they've been effective in impacting people?
Like there's a Bible app where you can get daily scripture.
Sprinkle.
Yeah, those are good.
What'd you say?
It's called Sprinkle of Jesus.
Yeah.
Sprinkle of Jesus. All right. We all need a little sprinkle.
Yeah, I
You
think
guys,
about
after you
that.
finish this, you should text these two.
Sprinkle of Jesus. I have a Bible app, I just didn't have Sprinkle of Jesus.
You have Bible Gateway.
How do you handle people who don't like that? Like, for instance, I've got a guy. Every time I tweet like an Osteen verse, this guy comes back with something, must really love Jesus living in $1 million house and stuff like, you know? And it's like, okay, all right, I'm going to take
Wanna
a
go
breath here.
negatively.
I'm going to take a breath here for a second. But the guy keeps following, and he keeps hearing that stuff. And so you're thinking, okay, it's getting to him at some point in time. But it's very difficult in the moment not to respond to somebody like that.
And that's also when like you have to, they want to see as a Christian like how you're going to react.
Right, exactly.
And so if you were to retaliate with meanness and harshness and violence and stuff, they're gonna be like, oh, that's how a Christian acts. That's how, like, you know, and just
No, you're
prove their
absolutely
point
right. That's a
further.
great point.
Do you ladies feel required to share your faith? Share a little bit about your faith journey in your social media accounts?
I like to sometimes, like on stories and stuff like that, just because you never know who's in need of encouragement or love or something at some point in their life, because we all have bad days, bad weeks. stuff
It's a
like
part of
that.
your life too, and you're expressing your life. And if that's a big part of your life, then you would want to share that with other people that you're allowing to follow.
Let me ask you one last question. Should teachers and students be friends on social media?
Probably.
Yeah, growing up, I always like.
I
I'm
think
just curious.
after-
I've actually gotten friend requests from students before, and I'm like, I don't know that I feel comfortable. And so I'm curious. Do you guys feel like that's an okay thing? Do
Maybe
you
not
think it
current
should?
students, but like
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
Right.
So maybe alums. Okay.
Depending how close of a relationship you had with the student as well. Like Miss Payne and I, she's not my teacher anymore, and we're friends on Facebook, but we also just have a really close relationship.
Okay.
So,
It could
that's-
depend on the person. Maybe.
right, like I would call her or text her if I ever needed her. So,
But as a general rule of thumb, no,
Right.
except in certain circumstances.
a lot of like respect.
yeah.
Now you're on video. The last question I have is, do you ever hear Mrs. Cat complain about her husband?
All the time.
Okay.
No.